go through the different types of shotguns that we have. This is an over and under. It's called an over and under for a couple of reasons, but mainly because the barrels, and I'm going to point this at you, but you notice it's unloaded, they're over and under. Thus the name over and under. This gun is also sometimes called a break open gun because it breaks open here. Now when you're walking around with this gun, always have it broken open so people can see that it's not loaded. This gun will only hold 2 shells. So when you get your shells, you put one in the bottom and one in the top. All right? When you go to shoot the gun, close the gun. You have your left hand here on the forearm, your right hand here, and just push it closed, all right? The gun is now loaded, so make sure you are always pointing it down range. Now, as an over and under, then you just bring it up to your shoulder, put it into your shoulder, up against your cheek, and fire. And then the 2 shells will eject. This is an inertia-based gun, meaning after you fire the first shot, the recoil will set the trigger for the second shot. That's why it's very, very important that you get the gun into your shoulder right here, because when that recoil comes back, it's going to push back a little bit and set that second trigger so you can fire that second shot. The other type of a gun is a semi-automatic. I started learning on a semi-automatic just like this one, only it was a 20 gauge. This is a 12 gauge. All right, you have the gun here. Now this is not a break open gun. This is a single barrel gun, as you can see with the receiver right here. So make sure the gun is pointed down range. Take your shell, pop it in here, drop it into this open chamber right here, push this button, and it immediately pushes the shot shell up into the barrel. The gun is now loaded. So then you take your second shell, come up underneath the bottom like this, take it, push it in, and it is in this magazine portion. Now this is a gas operated gun. Watch what happens when I shoot this gun. You'll see a lot of action right here. Remember, bring the gun up, put it into your shoulder. See how those shells fly out? It's a gas operated gun, meaning that's why it's a semi-automatic. You can actually put 3 shells into this. This is a great gun for hunting. It has a little less recoil sometimes than an over and under, but I love these kinds of guns. This is a great gun to learn on. The other type of a gun that you're going to see out on the shooting range is a pump gun. It's called a pump action. I love this gun. This gun is so much fun to shoot. And it's called a pump because you have to pump the shells in order to get them to cycle. Meaning when one ejects, another one has to be put in. So you have to pump this, and I'll show you how this works. You take a shell, you drop it into the open chamber there, then you take your right or your left hand and just push up. And you've just shucked, as we call it. All right, so now this gun is loaded. Then you can take another shell and pop it in the bottom, push it up. It's now into the magazine. The first shell we put is now in the barrel. Now when I shoot it, in order for the second shot to be fired, I have to pump the gun, or shuck it as we call it. So watch what I do with my left hand. It's a great gun to shoot. It's a lot of fun when you're hunting. It's great waterfowl. It's not necessarily the best kind of gun for skeet, because when you're first learning skeet or trap or any game actually, because when you're first learning, you have to remember to shuck. And if you can't remember to shuck, you're not going to get that second shot. But down the road, this is a wonderful gun. This is a great gun also, and you notice how it's a little different than the over and under we just looked at, and that's because if you look at it, the barrels are not over and under, they're side by side. If we take the gun and go like this, it now becomes an over and under. But it's called a side by side, and these are very, very nice guns. I love these guns. They come from Britain. This one happens to have a nice little pad on it. Most of them don't, but they don't have a lot of good gripping here. They don't have that forearm that we talked about as thick or as wide as the other over and under. So, but if you put this gun up just like this and move it, this is a really sweet gun. You're gonna like this kind of a gun if you want to do some hunting. This is a great bird gun. Pheasant hunting, waterfowl, grouse hunting, anything like that. This is the kind of gun that you want to go with.